For biofuels, people are interested in two things. One is, if you like, replacing coal and burning material. The other, and probably the most important one to replace, because is to replace transportation liquid fuels. Now, all plant material is made up of cellulose, so if you like, straw, wood and so on. The structural material in there is cellulose. Cellulose is a polymer of glucose, the sugar, just the starches, but it's more difficult to convert, to break that cellulose down into glucose. But if you can do that, then every plant becomes a potential source of biofuel. This opens up new possibilities for us. We can think about plants which can grow on land where we can't grow food crops, which of course is much of the Earth's surface, and convert those. And so we've been looking in particular at miscanthus, which is a very productive plant, but very sustainable as well. It produces a large root system. It doesn't need fertilizers and so on to get the high productivity. Definitely, miscanthus will grow very well in the UK. So certainly, here in Yorkshire it will do well, and right down to the south of the country. And I think, in combination with willows and poplars, that the UK could produce a significant amount of bioenergy. Yet at present it's actually importing material from North America to burn in its bioenergy plants. We can now bioengineer many of our crops, introduce, if you like, novel traits into them. And I think, but the biggest issue that is emerging is simply having crops which can produce more per hectare of land, and preferably do that without more nitrogen, without more water. And so from our fundamental knowledge of plant biology, we can now see ways in which this might be done, using plants such as Arabidopsis as a model. Translating that into crop plants is going to be critical for the future of keeping food prices down, but also feeding the world and avoiding catastrophes which we could otherwise see. Nothing is more important to the population of the world than having sufficient food. And while over the last 50 years we've really had an abundance, it's pretty clear that's not going to be true of the next 50 years. So this is emerging increasingly as the challenge of the century.